So in a recent piece, I hit you with the, hold on. I hit you with the, I will trade you your sanity for a like, subscribe, and a bell to stay notified. Wait, yeah. I receive your sanity. Wait, no. You receive your sanity. I receive a like, subscribe, and a bell to stay notified. I'm doing a meme in real life. That's crazy shit, bro. So that's why you should hit the likes. And I'm telling you 3 times now. Anyway, a little bit of a coda that me and my partner were talking about, and I want to bring this in a larger light. In my last piece that I did on YouTube, it was called "You May Fold Under Questioning," and all throughout today, we've been watching these little tiny excerpts from people who I can edit pauses out, so that's what I'm doing when I pause and I forget a thought. It's better to just pause all the way. It makes the editing so much more easier. There are considerable thoughts that I think fall under the definition of what makes you do something, what makes you say something. I have been referenced, called out, and spoken about in regards to the Bored Ape root system, if we're going to call it that. And not once has anybody ever asked me to elaborate on whether I'm still around that community, I still involve myself, if I have any beliefs with that or anything. Nobody ever asked me that. And I think a portion of it is that I've been on the internet so long that even though I have different usernames and I mean something different in different communities, those people have all generally grown up and we've kind of stayed around the same hobbies, orbit, interests. And I realize that there is nothing that needs to be, you control this space. I control these four squares, these 4 lines around which I am boxed in. Nobody can make me do anything. Therefore, I understand that I have a level of ignorance towards everyone else. Personally, all I can ever know about you is what you put online. That is how it is supposed to work, but because we have different formats of media, different formats of X, Y, and Z, the relationship can get skewed. Sometimes we call this parasocial relationships, where the viewers get more attached to the identity of the streamer or the identity of the content creator because they've seen and peered into or heard a little bit of their personal stuff and they empathize with them a little bit more. The fold under questioning coda, the why. I ask why. Why do you feel that way? Because my community, or at least how I believe I've cultivated it, all these people can support me however they want. The one thing none of them will ever do is dick ride me. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way because I never opened myself up to the world of another and made them pick a side. I don't have to. I help people analyze their actions. What drove you to decide this decision was correct? Why do I do that? Because as my boys was just in here, that's how we grew up. That's what people come to me for. That's my forte, my specialty. Because I'm in the crib. When I hate to be this guy, but I feel like if you live in New York City and you've been to a metal show, you already know exactly the point. Like, you know me from somewhere. I've seen you around somewhere. I've seen your work on some page. I've heard you mentioned before. I have a preconceived notion of you, and this is what people will say to me, I have a preconceived notion of you that exists with context. If you can bring yourself to feel a type of way about a situation, and this automatically goes right to the Israel-Gaza situation, like automatically, but before we go all the way up there, let's pull it down back to interpersonal relationships. If you feel a type of way, can you explain that with no context? Like the Amazon lady that we was watching earlier, dodging every question. Like, why are the people that, if you're such a great place to work, why does everybody who's around you go on strike? Well, we exercise their right to strike. Okay, so you're giving me no context. I have to assume the context now because I can't question you. Because why? Because you may fold under questioning. The mere aspect of being a person online means you gotta check your ego at the door and how you present it. People don't trust me to look at other people and say, well, this situation's about this. People don't trust me to look at a political situation and be like, instead of taking it serious, Paradigm, go do your FGC commentary. Go do a remix on it or whatever. But when it's time to lock in, it's time to lock in because I've set my audience up to know that whatever I choose to speak about, I know what I'm talking about. I'm not coming up with this randomly. I'm not some provocateur of knowledge. I just know shit. Like, maybe I wish more niggas from Brooklyn was streamers and we have our own little coalition. I'm trying to raise those motherfuckers up. Shout out Justice Falls. He not from Brooklyn, he from the Bronx, but you know, niggas is niggas. My man Piantini and Newcomer coming out with a song. I'm gonna put it on the stream. I could do as much work as I can to put people close to me on. I don't care if out of my 10 people here, I get you one extra listener and one extra follower. We roll. I started this stream with a raid from my mod, Globus the Elder. And the first thing I said is, I don't want you to pick sides between if you have to watch him, then you gotta go to me, then you gotta go to him. If you like his content and he's on, feel free. Because we share audiences. So I know that somewhere down the road, he gonna say, I covered this. I'm calling my Discord over. We gonna tell you why you wrong. Watch this part of my broadcast. We trust because he doesn't open up his mouth about things he doesn't know about. He doesn't fold under questioning. Because now pay attention, because I feel like when I go on these, when I do this and say it word for word, bar for bar, exactly how it's supposed to sound, people don't pay attention. So we're gonna say this slowly. My line of questioning about a person's motives or ethics is never in question when they've had years and years and years to show me a different side of them and have not. You've been in the same situations I have. You've been in the same type of situations I have. We have some of the same friends. If I had to look at you and ask you a question like, what do you mean by that? Then there's something wrong. I don't have to ask that question because the question is steered towards an area I'm not knowledgeable in. And then they'll say you're pivoting, or then they'll say, then why'd you start the conversation? Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? That shit whack. I'm gonna just tell you that right now. That shit whack. That shit hella whack. I get it. I know that feeling. That's my argument with my dad. And then we could go on to different parenting styles and how I was exposed to many parenting styles because my dad obviously was a drug user, and that put me on the edge of difference of knowing how to be humble and this and that. And then I could look at my other friends, and I was always at their cribs because I was the kid that they always wanted to invite over. Oh, that kid's a nice kid. That kid's a nice kid. I was that kid. I'm coming to you, and I'm telling you I'm not gatekeeping the knowledge that I have gained over these years. I have a very special connection to many different communities that the majority of regular people do not have. We're not talking about online. That's a whole other world. I pop into motherfuckers with 100,000 viewers. They still saying, yo, what's up, Marquise? All right. We don't go there because then it's like, then I got to push the whole like, oh, I do what they do. And we've already had those conversations on this stream. If your methods and ethics make me ask, why are you doing this? Then that means that at some point in time, I see it, and I'm asking, I've said lovely things in this realm. Why is this realm turning into this? What does this mean afterwards? Remember, I hope to make stories and chapters and seasons out of this. There has to be a continuous thread. If there's not a continuous thread, then why do I believe what you feel day to day? If you change your opinion, my computer case itself has a fucking speaker. Yeah, some of them do. It's rare, depending on how you build it, but yeah. Unless you're talking about stereo mix, then that's something else. But if something's playing out of your computer, yeah, definitely Anyway, I don't find myself folding under questioning, so we're all good on getting carried away or losing track of thought because one way or another, I have this segment together. Anyway, you will face individuals like this in your life all the time because we all haven't had our stop being wrong about shit and I won't have to challenge you. Just like that parent in that right there, right? Well, over there. Yeah. Stop challenging me. You're always looking for something for me to challenge. I'm a child. You're disrespecting me. Get out of you're breaking my boundaries. I said I don't like this. You said I don't care. Oh, so now I don't care. Now you care. And you don't like this. What is that cycle? What is that cycle and how are you not aware of how to break out of it? So when you participate in it, you are led to believe that if I say, what the fuck do you mean by I'm funny? What makes me so funny? How the fuck am I funny? Tell me what's so fucking funny about me. Everybody freezes. Nobody says a word. I just mean you get the classic phrase that every fucking narcissist has ever used in their lifetime. I didn't mean it like that. It's just you're funny, that's all. Funny how? What am I, a fucking clown? Am I here to yeah, hello. I don't ever give people anything but the benefit of the doubt because I understand that this type of thinking is not normal. This is not commonplace. This is autistic. This is autistic and traumatized. What it has done, however, is allow me to recognize that the person who says, yeah, I want to do a photo shoot with you, and then doesn't hit you up for 6 months, I can, and this is what I said on Stonercast, I can stop myself from internalizing that as something's wrong with me. That person's just not interested. Life got in the way. They didn't feel like planning it. They liked it in the moment, but they didn't the next day. Now, if you rewind this entire piece, you will have heard me say that line 3 times already, because I'm subtly training you. Oh, you think this is all like pre-planned, like there's a script? No script. I just know what I'm talking about. I know where I want to go. I know where the plans are. I know I know. So it don't make me feel no bad. Do you ever have to literally argue with your own self-talk? Yes. Because I'll say some contradictory shit. That's a great way to end this too. I'll talk about that for like 2 minutes. This isn't like I'm normal and everybody else is weird problem. This is a common problem. The only reason I'm good at it is because it's so common. And I one time opened myself up and said, yo, if anybody need help with this very specific thing, I'm very good at like figuring out how to not internalize things. What's healthy for you? Because I used to internalize everything. And I would sit there moody on a day and be like, I have so much stuff to do. I got my manga and I got my guitar and I got my game and I got, why don't I feel the drive to do anything? Is it the chemical imbalance or is it a little bit something more? So when I see responses and I see people make judgments and assertions and assumptions, I think to myself, not that those people snap on a dime, make themselves feel that way, make them whatever. No, I don't think that way at all. Do you know what I do? I ask them, what context are they being given to make these conclusions? That's why when I look at Hassan's chat, I can see a bunch of yeps every time he says something that they all, there's 30,000 people in there. Of course you're going to get a bunch of yeps. If he reads a chatter's message wrong, you will see people literally say, what the fuck are you talking about, chatter? Chatter's brain broken, this and that. You'll see it all the time. And they hyper focus on that chatter because the streamer drew attention to it. The content creator drew attention to it. The art you're consuming drew your attention in that direction. If whatever that person is making you feel about the thing that you are viewing, and you find yourself jumping to just naturally agree, no retrospection. No, I don't want to get an argument. I don't want to get a this. I don't want to get a that. Nobody's ingesting and they're reacting. Game over. Can you control this in this environment? And I literally mean Twitch. For you, my YouTube audience, I can do whatever the fuck I want. You can leave a comment about anything and I can just argue with you all day. You're right, you fail me. Oh man, and it's like, yo, It's like, yo, not everybody has the great memory you have. And that's like not a diss towards Hassan. Like, that's literally like everybody's an individual. I cannot assume that you're pulling this negative conclusion out unless two things are true. Either I've guided you there or you had that preconceived notion. I cannot, in any way, good conscience, make anybody in my community feel a type of way about anybody. Anytime I've ever put my foot out for anybody, always y'all do weird shit. So I just stopped doing it, and now I'm not in that situation anymore. I don't internalize that person's problems. But you know what I used to do when I started on this platform? I used to internalize and make it about myself. You know who got me out of that? God have him willing. Nick Meyer and Rhizome. Those two motherfuckers told me about myself. Take the L and move on. I just yesterday in Rhizome's chat, I told them, I just want to say I appreciate it and I thank you. No beef, no drama, but they might remember what I'm talking about later. Do they like it in the moment, or did they always feel that way and you gave them an excuse? To wrap this up beautifully, if anything you do makes me ask you, what do you mean by that? Or in a greater sense, why? If your presentation doesn't contain that why, somebody's lying. I always present my whys. I guess that's why I got a wise man. And that's why you just finished watching a beautiful another episode of The Paradigm Shift. Go hit that like, subscribe, that bell, and stay notified. Sumi! Suma! Arigato! I don't know! Okay, so if you made it to this part of the video, you win $20, but you have to claim it by leaving a comment saying you want your $20, and I'm gonna need your credit card information, so that's the 16 digits on the front of the card, and then the expiration date and the 3-letter thing, so I can send you the money. Or you could leave a phone number, and the phone number, when I text you, you could send me nudes, man or woman, whatever you identify as. Just be hot. Only hot people text me. But you don't know what I found. You don't know. John Wick needs your help. Big money, salvia. Big money, salvia. Big money, salvia, salvia, salvia. Help, John Wick needs your help.